Hello once again, Terrier Nation. Sports Information Director Jared Plate here for our fall preview shows. This is our fourth and final preview for the fall season, and we made you wait for it because Hiram football decided to take a bye week in week one, so we made everybody wait just that extra little bit, and I know you guys are getting itchy to get on that field, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
This is head coach Henry Stanford in his second season as head coach with the Terrier football program, and we're just going to preview the upcoming season and also the game upcoming with the Earlham Quakers, which is a 3 o'clock start right here at Charles A. Henry Field on September 9th. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh, so talk a little bit about how camp went. I know you guys are technically getting like an extra week of camp because of that week one bye week. So talk a little bit about how camp went and a lot of fresh faces on the field for you guys this year.
Yeah, I mean, the camp went very well. We stayed relatively healthy. Didn't have any major injuries, any major bumps and bruises. Saw some young guys do some great things. We had a couple of holes we had to fill with some of our roster spots, but for the most part, we did pretty good, and we stayed pretty healthy, and we were pretty impressed with the guys we had.
So the captains that you named this year were all on the offensive side of the ball. Correct. When you talk about your two running backs and also Mike Scuzena, the tight end. So let's discuss that running back tandem that you guys got coming back that we've dubbed Thunder and Lightning. So we've got senior Danny Robinson, who was a first-team All-Conference last year, as well as Isaiah Jones Jr. And just talk about what those guys kind of bring to the table and how they're different and how.
I mean they're different. The Lightning in my mind is Danny Robinson. He's from Florida and he has that Florida speed. I mean he has that speed that he hits the hole hard and there's no one there. He can take it to the house, so to speak. But he has an element of power too, so he's kind of surprising. It surprised a lot of people is how much power he brings. But he's definitely the Lightning of the group. And then Thunder is Isaiah Jones from Kent Roosevelt High School nearby Kent, Ohio. He's Thunder. And the great thing about both those young men is that both Danny and Isaiah have a little bit of the other element to them. They're not just strictly power and speed or thunder and lightning. They have a little bit of the opposite. So where Danny brings a little bit of power at times and runs people over and tries to impose his will, the same thing for Isaiah. Isaiah in open field has the ability to take one to the house as well from distance. So they both are pretty good tandem. Yeah.
So what's that going to allow your offense to do that you've got two very talented running backs that we've listed on the depth chart as 1 and 1A? Being that you're not very experienced on the outside with the wide receivers, what's having two really solid running backs do for your offense?
What it does, it allows us to take a little bit of the stress off the receiving core and put it on some veteran guys that have done it before. It allows us to be able to run the ball effectively because all of our linemen got to do is cover people up. In theory, we have two outstanding running backs that can make guys miss and run through people, and they have different elements that we mentioned a moment ago. But it gives us an opportunity to kind of put our hat on that element of the offense, which is run the ball, to take a little bit of stress off the receiving core being young. So they bring kind of a opportunity to run the ball effectively, but then they also are good receivers as well at the backfield.
So returning quarterback, he started the last 3 games for you last year and helped you guys to a 2-1 record down the stretch. We're talking about junior Randy Tucker.
Yes.
Talk about what Tucker's going to bring to the table and what do you expect out of the quarterback position this year?
Randy did a lot last year. He made great strides, took over his starting role as a quarterback position. Going to the 2017 fall, it was about him continuing to mature and develop, which he's been doing so far. So this season is going to be an opportunity for him to expand and blossom into the quarterback that he can potentially become. He's definitely a really good thrower. He does bring some elements of being able to run the ball as well, but when it's all said and done, Randy is going to be solid at the quarterback position.
What do you think Randy needs to do to take that next step when you talk about getting into that top tier of quarterback play within the North Coast Athletic Conference? What does Randy need to start doing?
I mean, the biggest thing I've seen over the years being in the NCAC is the quarterbacks that have been the elite quarterbacks in our conference, which is a very competitive conference, have been guys that have that poise, that have that ability to know when to make a play and when to just be efficient. And I think for Randy, just being an efficient quarterback, converting first downs on third down, being able to take the pressure and get the ball to our receivers in the open field, the ability to have a command of the offense and have to lesser extent to say a certain swagger is what he needs to develop this 2017 season that I've seen from the guys at the schools that have been very successful with quarterback play. That's what they've had, and we want them to do the same.
biggest changes that Terrier fans will see on the field this year is no Josh Philander, no Akili Tate, no Jacob Luck, replacing our top 5 pass catchers from last year. So Miguel Hernandez is back for his sophomore year. Talk about who else you got coming back from the receivers, and what do the receivers need to do relatively quickly to step into those roles? And have you seen some guys do it already in camp?
Yeah, I mean, in camp we've had some young guys come in and do very well. Miguel Hernandez obviously is a returning guy, got some playing time last year. Luther Forson played well. You're going to see Jairus Foreman, who played quarterback last year from Maryland, plays some receiver this year. C.J. Manor from Florida was a running back last year that's now moved to wide receiver. So we have a couple of guys that are veteran players who have kind of gone from an old role into a new role that's going to give us a true foundation. But then freshman-wise, we have some pretty explosive freshmen coming in. Young men from Pennsylvania, from California, from Florida, Texas. Some guys that can really make guys miss, and are big receivers, but also a young man from Indiana that's a kind of a scat receiver as well. So I'm most impressed with the guys like DJ Franklin from Pennsylvania, Mo Yarborough from Tennessee, Torrin Mayhew from Alabama are some of the guys that have right away kind of blossomed to the top. Quavius Hayes, another big receiver. We're forced to have a couple really big receivers that have come here this year that kind of take over the Josh Philander roles and the Akili Tate roles, being the bigger type receivers. But like I said, the guys like Torrin and Torrin and Mo Yarborough are your little scat receivers, kind of like your Jacob Lucks and your David Perkins of the past, and your Nate Eames of the past that can make guys miss.
So let's move to the offensive line. 3 returning starters on the offensive line when you talk about Aaron Ratai, Jordan Everett, Sebastian Jenkins, all back on the offensive line. Who else do you have coming in that can fill some of those roles left by previous guys? And what do you expect out of the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, and also Dominic DeLong from California, he played a little bit last year as well. But I think going into the season, guys like Tyreek Robinson from Florida is going to see some time at left guard. Jordan Everett, as you mentioned, Sebastian Jenkins, Aaron Ratai are going to be some of the veteran guys that give us a lot of stability. Freshman-wise coming in, we have guys like Michael Hidalgo, who's from Texas, who's shown some really good strides. Case Wiles from South Carolina has done some really good things. So we have a couple of guys that are O-line-wise that are pretty good.
I saw not too long ago some of these offensive linemen like to take a little liberty during practice when you saw those freshmen Wiles and Hidalgo cutting in front of some kick returners. You got some new kick returners in the offensive linemen?
Yeah, I mean, it was a moment in practice when the guys had a drill time off, and we were doing a little bit of special teams, returning punts, returning kicks, and they would happen to be down there. And a couple of the balls kind of went array a little bit in their direction. So Case caught one, took one back for a bit, and Tyreek Robinson caught a punt and did some things. So we can definitely say that we have some athletic linemen on our team that have aspirations of being punt returners or kick returners, but they have to definitely understand their role, and we already got some guys that can return punts for us.
They call a spade, right?
Exactly.
Offensive lineman or offensive lineman.
They're all linemen, so they got good hands, they can run, but they're not returners.